On this episode of Team Building Saves the World.
Legot is a Danish word that Lego comes from, and it means play well. Do you want to wear the wings for every episode? And I was like, you know what? Yeah. And because I allowed myself to open up and be open to her suggestions, I am now a much better builder because of her. I love doing Lego classes.
It's making order out of chaos. It
Exactly.
really is.
Yes, 100%. How would I have done this in any other job? You know, how do I deal with...
Hello, team. It's me, your old friend Rich Rinnensland, host of Team Building Saves the World. You know, a lot of times in the 6 seasons we've been producing this award-winning show, I've been asked if there's anyone I've spoken with outside of the normal corporate setting, if only just to see if the topics are still relevant. Well, if you've wondered this yourself, then this is the episode for you. On today's episode, I have the pleasure of speaking with performer, comic book creator, team building facilitator, and two-time Lego Masters champion, Krystle Starr. But first, I have to share some love with all of my supporters at Team Bonding. If your team is ready to experience teamwork through the power of play, then visit teambonding.com to learn more. Now, team, I really hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did. Join me in welcoming Lego Masters champion and cancer survivor, Krystle Starr.
Krystle Starr, thank you so much for coming on, my team out there. I just want to say this is very exciting because you are definitely something I have not had on the show in a very long while. When somebody first approached me and said that I have this Lego master that I want you to interview, I was like, that doesn't sound like something I really need for this show. And yet, they gave me a bunch more information about you, and I'm excited to have you here. This is going to be a fun interview. You are a cosplayer, a Lego enthusiast, a Lego master, a video game designer, a web host, and YouTuber. How did this become your life?
Lots of ADD. ADHD definitely fuels the fire.
Sure.
And yeah, I cosplayed for a few years, and then I wound up having a brain tumor and deciding that I didn't really want to be in front of the camera much anymore. And ironically, Lego Masters actually called me back. I've been on the show 3 times, and we've won twice. One of the trophies is around there. The other trophy is packed in the other room for about to hit the road again.
Excellent.
And then game design, I went to college for that, and I still dabble in it a little bit, love gaming. And we actually just launched our Kickstarter for our newest game called Cardio Quest. And I'm really, really proud of this one. It's not your typical game. It's actually about cardio, and you have to get your heart rate up in order to move your player along through the different levels. And it is the coolest concept. There's nothing really like it on the market right now. And I highly recommend you guys go check it out. Again, we just launched the Kickstarter. We are almost halfway funded, so I'm very excited about that.
Good for you.
So yeah.
Excellent. Now, how have you seen, through all the hats that you've worn, how has team building actually played across all of those different markets that you've been in?
Yeah. So, after the 3rd season of Lego Masters, I think that was the hardest season for me, mainly because the partner I had was an incredible person. Michelle is just this amazing human being, but our building styles are so incredibly different.
Oh, okay.
And we did not choose each other for partners. We kind of did, the casting director asked us if we would work together, and we were like, heck yeah. But we didn't understand how different our building styles really were. And when you're, in an office setting, like any line of work, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're on a team, you have to play well, right? And Lego is a Danish word. Well, it's a word from Legot is a Danish word that Lego comes from, and it means play well. And so the whole meaning behind this little tiny brick is to play well. And Michelle and I had a really rough, bumpy road for whatever season it was, the 3rd time I was on it. We loved each other at the beginning, and then we couldn't stand each other for a few episodes because our building styles were just so different. We both wanted to take the lead. We both were, our creative our creative juices were not like flowing together. They were like meshing, not well. Like they were clashing.
Gotcha.
But through that, I started to have, as long as you can play well, no matter what your personal feelings are, no matter what you think of the actual person in that moment, in that time, I've always been a team player, may it be soccer, ballet, like, all the things that I did as a kid growing up, volleyball. You have to put your emotional and your ego aside. And you have to do what's best, because we were Team USA, so we were on a global stage, right?
Nice.
This was in Australia, and we were the only team from the United States, and so we didn't want to go home early for literally our country, And we had a bunch of young girls. Like, I knew from doing Lego Masters the other seasons that a lot of my fans are young women, young girls. And we made a promise to each other, no matter how mad we were at each other or how upset we were at each other on a personal level, we were never going to showcase that on screen. We were always going to be really polite, really passionate, and play well together, because that was something that was extremely important for us. And because we did that, because we didn't lower ourselves, because we kept that high moral, our high moral values, we actually started really learning how to respect each other in that moment as creatives, as builders. And then I also, it allowed me to see her for not just the creative person that she was as a Lego artist, but I started to really see who she was as a mother, as a person. And the last build that we did together, which is our winning build in Australia, we had this moment where we had just such deep respect for each other. And we realized that we really, truly not only respected each other as Lego artists, but really respected each other on a personal level, as a human. And now Michelle and I are like best friends.
Awesome.
It's crazy, because if you can put your ego aside, and this is something that I teach in a lot of the classes. I do a lot of Google, classes for Google engineers on team building and how to get through certain problems. May it be an actual, a problem that you have to solve with work, or a problem that you have to solve with a coworker. These are things that really, really helped us on the show. And, now Michelle and I travel the country together. We don't even get separate hotel rooms. We love each other so much that we don't see each other as much because we're 3 hours away.
Right.
So we actually ask to be put in the same room.
Aww.
And we stay up until 1 a.m. talking to each other, and just, it's a really beautiful thing once you do put that ego aside, and once you can really focus on the work and the project and have that be the thing you focus on and put all of your energy towards. That to me can just go beyond Lego, beyond it doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter where you work. I think that is a really important thing to have just as a human.
Yeah. So I know my team out there right now who are listening to this are going to start Googling to try to find out, to see what it was that you built. What was that winning build for you and your partner?
Yeah, that was the largest build I've ever created. In fact, it's the largest build in Lego Masters history. And again, Lego Masters is worldwide. I think we're on 13 or 20 different countries. I don't know. It's a lot. And there's different, each country has multiple seasons. And to date, this is the largest build. It took 28 hours to build, and we built the art studio. So we literally only got the floor palette, and we built walls, windows, a full easel. That's why I kind of have these on display.
Yeah, those are, I was going to say, for those of you who are only listening to this in audio, right behind Krystle, we have a series of just, they look like art posters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is the Evil Dead recreation of the
I was going to say, one of my favorite movie series of all times.
Is it?
It is. It absolutely
oh my gosh.
is.
So
yes.
Bruce Campbell actually just signed it, and it says
yes.
favorite.
Nice.
Yeah. So
you built an entire studio out of nothing but Lego.
Correct. And it was powered by fairy magic. So on the show, I have wings. Season 1, we did it kind of like as a joke for one episode, and they brought me back for the holiday special, in which I also wore wings. And then in Australia, they were like, do you want to wear the wings for every episode? And I was like, you know what? Yeah. Because that's like the big thing, that when little girls come to meet me, like when we do the meet and greets, a lot of them will have their fairy wings on to match. And so I just wore the wings for every episode, which was great.
That's fantastic. I love it. And now I've been very specifically trying not to call them Legos because that's incorrect, right?
There's a Lego monster that will come in like get right in the ball of your foot next time.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I have a child who's now 19, but when she was a preteen, my God, that Lego monster was everywhere. And and it just pushed that brick right under my foot every time I was barefoot. Okay, so what is the craziest thing? If that's the largest you've ever built, what's the craziest thing you ever built?
I think I'm working on it right now. Actually, I am building we're going to call it the Tiki Hide and Seeky, and it is going to be roughly 4 to 6 feet long. And it is a Tiki Oasis, but Star Wars themed.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we're going to have a bunch of different, we've got it's kind of like there's a lot of indoor-esque, a lot of Ewoks. Yeah, I think we've got like maybe 20 or so Ewoks in the build, and we'll have some spacecrafts around, and it's just really wacky and fun. And it's not a commission piece. It's just a piece that I get to do for fun, that I get to take on the road and share, showcase it through different cities. And I'm just really, really excited because it's just so whimsical and, as I like to say, messy. I'm a messy builder. So I like Michelle, my partner, is a very clean builder. That's why we clash so hard.
Gotcha.
Yes. So this is a messy build that I get to do just for fun.
I have some exes who felt the same way about me. Far too messy a builder while they were way too clean. So can you share a collaboration with me beyond the ones you've already told us about, where you knew that the design and the build went so much easier because you had a partnership going on or a team involved, as
100%.
opposed to something you could just do yourself? Because I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could do all of these yourself, but you're not going to do it within 28 hours.
No, and that's the thing. I'll be the first person to tell you I can't do all these myself, and that's why the team building is so important, especially once you can recognize that. And again, putting that ego aside and really knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and allowing your team to lead with their strong points is something that's, you have to do it. Otherwise your team is going to suffer. So as soon as Michelle and I partnered up, I went and researched her building styles, and I was like, man, this woman is really clean. She doesn't like to show studs. I am just like, let's put leaves on everything, let's make it I like to put as much as I possibly can. And Michelle is quite the opposite. So when we were getting a project to start for the show, we would both design it out, but I really kind of took a seat back, which was hard for me because it was my third season. And the first and second time I was on the show, I was the team lead. I was the one who was coming up with the ideas and kind of like, in a sense, having my kind of direct my partner.
Sure.
And one of my partners was Rob Riggle. He's a comedian. He's been in a bunch of stuff, and he was just like a silly goose, which I am too. So we kind of had to like reel it back and like really kind of like focus. But with Michelle, I told her, day one when we partnered up, I'm gonna let you take the lead on a lot of this because I really trust you and I love your building style, and I'm going to listen to whatever you tell me to do, which was not always easy. And I definitely, if you watch the show, you can see me kind of have tantrums every once in a while because I really thought we should have done it a different way or something. And
I'm sure the producers hated that drama.
They didn't showcase it as much as they should have.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because in Australia, it's less about the drama and it's way more about the actual techniques.
Oh, lovely.
And in the US, it's very much about the drama. We would have been we would have a ton of screen time in the US. So, but yeah, and there were definitely times where I would get really frustrated because I would put a lot of time into the project, and she would, at the very end of each episode before we turned our piece in, we would stand back and you do the 2, 5, 10 rule. So what does it look like from 2 feet? What does it look from 5 feet? What does it look like from 10 feet? Okay. Does it still make sense from 10 feet? Do you lose some of the detail? And, Michelle would take off certain like flowers or something that I would make that I spent maybe an hour or two on, and she would be like, okay, it's getting too messy. We're going to pull it. And that would infuriate me on the inside, right? Because I spent so much time and I was like, no, I did that. What? And as an artist, I wanted to make sure that my creativity was shown all the work that I did, I wanted to be shown.
Right.
And, but I'm really glad that I bit my tongue, and, sometimes you have to bite the inside of your lip and just, and take one for the team in a way. And
Okay.
so because I was able to do that, and because she was able to work with me and stand her ground, even though I was being, throwing a little tantrum or whatever. Because I would be like, "Are you sure?" And I'd really try to push for it. But if she told me something like twice, I'd be like, "All right, I'm going to listen to her." Yeah, I'm really glad that I was able to do that, to not be a super stinker, just a little, just a little. But I'm really, really glad I did. And I think I learned so much. She taught me a ton. And because I allowed myself to open up and be open to her suggestions, I am now a much better builder because of her.
Okay. Are these the kind of things that you have taken to helping team dynamics? Because that's part of what you do now.
Yes, it's a huge thing. And when we do like one-on-one sessions, we do like a group thing, and then we do the one-on-one, and then we do a big group thing kind of at the end. And that's a huge thing. And I think that one of my favorite things from a woman, I can't remember if she was from Microsoft or Google, but she said that after doing the Lego team building exercise, she was really quiet, very quiet at the workspace. And I think we had a team of maybe like 20 plus in that group.
Okay.
And she said that she had really felt seen for the first time because, we gave her a space with Lego to create a story and tell the story. And she was really proud of it because I guess she had been a huge Lego builder, and, her team had no idea because she's so quiet. But when she got the bricks, her creativity just exploded, and she was really able to tell the story. And, Lego is such an amazing tool for storytelling.
Right.
And, letting those creativity juices just flow, and the bonding you get with Lego is on such like a deeper human connection because it's not work, right? It's play.
Right.
And play,
Exactly.
yeah. And fostering, connection through play is a huge part of what we teach. And allowing yourself to be that different person was just like a really cool story that I heard from her. So
why is it you think play works? Why is it so fundamental to, especially in a high, because everything you're saying, as amazing as it all sounds, and I'm sure the experience was right there, like high adrenaline, high fun, but it also sounds incredibly stressful and high pressure. So how do you keep fun alive in that, and how important is fun in maintaining that for you?
So Lego, unlike like a competitive game or, like a structured task, if you will, when you do creative play and just give someone like a bunch of bricks and no instructions, I think it invites like that curiosity, the personal storytelling, and the medium is just like, it's so versatile and it's tactile. So you're using a different part of your brain than you would be like when you're coding or whatever it is your work is.
Right.
And Lego is also very flexible, like not as a brick, but the way that you can connect them and put them together. You can take it apart really easily and like redo it. And it doesn't take any particular like skill level. Anyone can kind of start. Like Michelle, my partner from Australia, she didn't start until about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And now she has the biggest trophy on the Lego Master scale, the Australia versus the world.
Nice.
And I just think that it's a really powerful tool to kind of like, in certain settings, not on the show, but in certain settings, it's like to reduce stress, and you can kind of unlock different avenues with your brain. And I think that's why it's such a good tool to have when you're doing these team building exercises.
Okay. Can you explain to my team out there what My Possibilities is?
Yes. My Possibilities is a school for adults with abilities, and there's the terminology has changed since I worked there.
Right.
But it is a place for adults with like Down syndrome, autism, and all kinds of different things and backgrounds. And I used to teach there many moons ago. I still work with them occasionally when I can. They actually have a wrestling club, which is really cool.
Nice.
And for those at home, I've got big wrestling posters behind me out of Lego. And I used to be an art teacher there for a while. And I also taught the Lego therapy class there, which I also then took to Twitch and did ADD Lego therapy with me for a while
Nice.
as well. I've done Lego therapy with vets. So, people with PTSD, but My Possibilities was really great because the Lego therapy class with them, I would put them in groups of 3. And, some of these students were nonverbal or their tactile skills were on all different levels. And, I would have one, and this is a great exercise to do with really anyone, but we would have one was the builder,
Okay.
one was the architect, and then one was the supplier. So only the supplier could find the pieces that were coming up next. Because, on the Lego page, we would do sets and it tells you what you need next for the steps.
Okay.
So the supplier would find those parts, give them to the architect. Then the architect was not allowed to put them together, was not allowed to build. The architect was then to tell the builder how they went on the build. And It was hilarious and fun. And some people got stressed, but I think most of the students really, really enjoyed it. And then every 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was, we would switch. So then you'd have to switch positions. And I loved this exercise so much because I had students that were very quiet and just didn't really feel comfortable talking to others. But in this situation, they had to. And they really kind of came out of their shells. And it was really nice to see them working as a team and building the set together because, they would have to, especially when they changed positions, even if they were in a position that they didn't like or couldn't stand or got mad about, they would all finish, right? Every team finished every build. And I think it was just really empowering because once they all finish that build, even when you're at home building a Lego set, which has instructions, you didn't build it from, from scratch, but you feel a sense of accomplishment and you're like, I did it. And team building with Lego is just so cool in that way. And, there's a company called Bricks and Minifigs, which I work with still, and we do occasional classes and stuff with them. And we have people come in and build whatever the theme is for that day, whatever the challenge is. And watching these kids build something really cool out of nothing and seeing that pride that they have is just so amazing. I love doing Lego classes.
It's making order out of chaos. It
exactly.
Really is.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Although I got to tell you, I'm old enough to remember a day where Lego just was a giant bucket of pieces.
Yeah, and they were only white, yellow, blue, and red.
Right. And as a kid, you just spilled them on the floor and spent the day trying to make whatever your imagination could. I miss those days. My kid...
I live in those days.
Well, my kid loved them too, but all we could ever find was the pre-packs, this is what you're going to build by buying this pack.
Yeah, you just buy a bunch of those and then
that's what I told her. That's what I told her.
The company that I said earlier, Bricks and Minifigs, which are all over the United States. I think there's over 100 stores. They have bulk bins where you can just go and buy pounds of loose brick, which is, for me, that's my jam. That's what I love to do.
Excellent.
But going back to the students, I think having that team building with the Lego was really cool because they got to, they really had to use their eye contact and the power of connection through play is amazing because it really lets you just unlock so much within you that I think a lot of people don't really understand that they have until they do it.
Right.
And I think that is one of my favorite things to watch about people as a team coming together to build something out of nothing.
Nice. And going back, you and Michelle, while you were working together on Lego Masters, you were talking about how you were such disparate styles in the way that you do
Clean
things.
And messy. Yes.
How do you, or how did you, because I loved I love the way you described your aha moment of, the respect you found for each other. How did you learn to communicate with each other besides through frustration? Because I'm certain that is something that my listeners out there go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yes. So hilarious. I was actually I was in my hotel room at night and I was kind of freaking out. I was like, how am I going to work with someone who we don't even want to talk to each other right now? How, and then I thought to myself, well, how would I have done this in any other job? You know, how do I deal with coworkers that you just don't want to deal with that day?
Nice.
And I think it goes back to, even if you don't like what that person is doing at that moment, I think you need to find some level of respect for them for whatever it is. Think about the positives of that person, and then also think about what that person's life is like. Put yourself in that person's shoes. And even if you have a coworker, and this is not going towards Michelle at all, Michelle is not this at all, but you know, say you have a coworker who is just really stinky, right? Like not actually, but like just being really rude, and just, you know, constantly getting under your skin, someone that you just cannot stand. I think you really need to meditate on it. And for me, I did daily affirmations every morning, and I told myself that I was a beacon of light, and that they would eventually, you know, they would see the good in me, and just as I would see the good in them.
Right.
And I would really think about, I would make myself list 5, not 3. I'm typically with the rules of 3, but 5 good things about that person. And this is something I did with other, you know, other jobs too. And also just like really think about like their hardships. And I know that can be like, oh, that's, you know, annoying, you know, whatever. I've got hardships too. But really, really think about their hardships. Think about what they're giving up to be in the job that they're with you. And think about, you know what they're telling you, you know what you see, but there's a whole world of that person that you don't see behind the closed doors. When they go home, you don't know what's going on in anyone's life. And I think that if you can really focus on that person and have empathy towards that person,
Right.
and give them the benefit of the doubt, and smiling is such a key thing for me, especially when, you know, Michelle and I, there were only 2 episodes that we were like really, really clashing with, but I made sure to smile at her. When I saw her, I made sure to smile at her. And that allows them to know that no matter what, you're going to have a good day. And I think you having a good day shows other people that they are also, like, in a way, allowed to have a good day. And I think that that is something that we need to do more as a society, is smile at people. And especially for me, it's like extra like important because the doctors told me I would never smile again when I got my brain tumor.
No.
It paralyzed the left side of my face, which is still paralyzed, but it's getting better, you know, but I can smile today. And the fact that I can smile today means I should smile.
Absolutely.
And that is a huge thing for me, is always, you know, a gift that you can give someone is to smile. And I think that once you do that, and once you show them that you respect them, that opens the door for them to feel like they can and should respect you as well.
Excellent. Wonderful. Has that philosophy worked for you in all of the many varied projects that you've had in your life? Not only Lego mastering, you've created a comedy club. Just one or more than one?
Comic book.
Comic book. Okay.
Comic
Okay.
book. I wish I had a comedy club. That'd be awesome. Comic book. And yes, I've written a bunch, especially during COVID. There's a whole fun story behind that. But yeah, I think that anytime I get partnered with someone, you know, I do a lot of team things. Right now, like, you know, Michelle and I travel across the country, and we're with different companies all the time doing Lego stuff. And you never know what the team is going to be like. You never know what the boss is going to be like. And sometimes we get people who are like really uptight and really like closed off and just like, da, 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 you know, and you're just like, ah. And for me, and I think Michelle does this too, but we both smile. And, you know, I think for us, it's kind of like, how can we alleviate what your stress is?
Right.
And I think that's a really big question to ask your teammates too, is what can we do to make the load easier on you? And then when we're bogged down, I think asking for help is huge.
Yeah.
Because if no one knows you're struggling, no one's going to help you. So I think just being really vocal about it, even though, you know, and I know a lot of people were raised to be seen and not heard, and, you know, I've worked with a lot of people who are way too afraid to ask for help. But I think that just really ends up hurting you and the team in the long run. So I think just constantly being vocal and do check-ins. I think check-ins are really, really great. Michelle and I, because we do these shows and sometimes we're up at like 6 in the morning and we don't go to bed until 9 or 10 at night, or don't leave the hall until, late.
Until it's done. Yeah.
Yeah, we stay until it's closed. We're constantly doing that. We're constantly checking in. Have you had enough water? Do you need a break? Like, do you need some food? You're acting a little off, you know?
Yep.
So I think that's just a really big thing for even, for any kind of relationship.
Yeah, I was going to say, because not only is this important in a corporate world, you got to have it in your personal life as well. I assume with the bright person that you are, that just, I only met just now on my little square on a computer screen, I assume you have your own personal team that's been helping you, especially during your recovery.
Yeah, definitely. And the recovery was like really weird because it was during COVID.
Yeah.
And so not only did I, and I just like Lego Masters season 1 was, I think, the most watched season. And so I went from like, I wouldn't say like stardom by any means, but I definitely, like, Girl Scout teams would recognize me. And like, like when I went out, people were recognizing me and I was really excited because I actually came from movie and film. I did a lot of VFX work, but this was my first time first time in a long time being in front of the camera. So like, to kind of not experience that and then get the world shut down was hard. But then I also lost all the VFX work because Hollywood completely shut down.
Yep.
And then I was a life coach also, but I would have them come to my house in my office. And at that point I was like, I don't know if I want people in the house, So, and then the whole convention circuit, that all got shut down. So all of my jobs, all of my sources of income got cut during COVID. And I don't know if that's what the brain tumor just like, I don't know if my brain just like popped from stress or like, I don't know, but, it was a lot to process, and having a good support system for me was huge. Good. And I actually run a book club with about 50 women in Dallas. Yeah. We typically have like 20, 25 that actually show up, but, it's, building that is so important to me because not only do those women help me, but we've created this amazing community and support system that help all of the women in there. We're posting, hey, this company is looking for a person to fill this job. And, when one of us is down, again, being vocal and having those check-ins is really important because, I do check in with all the women. I message them, I go through the list once a month and just see how's everyone's doing, see how we can connect. We at the beginning of the years, we write down our goals for the years and we do check-ins to see if we're meeting those goals. Because I don't have a real job. I have a job, but I don't have like a 9 to 5. I don't have an office job.
Okay.
So I don't have that sense of community that comes with a workforce. And I was kind of missing that a little bit. So creating this, all women's book club there is just an amazing source of support for all of us, I think.
Fantastic. And if you could give any advice to my listeners out there, say there's some corporate manager, who is trying to think of ways to strengthen the team that they have around them, what kind of advice you give them just on the importance of interjecting creativity and fun and keeping that alive in their team?
Yeah, no, like it's been scientifically proven to have these hands-on playing activities really boost your team on so many different levels. And I think even just get everyone the same set. It could be like a $10, $15 set. You don't have to break the bank for this.
Right.
And then dump them all out, open all the bags, throw away the instructions, and then, have everyone build a spaceship. Then have everybody, break it down and then have everybody build something else or have themes and give them 5 to 10 minutes each and just see what your team creates. It's going to be silly. It's not going to be amazing, or it might be amazing. It might be the best thing ever. But the point isn't about what you build. It's that you build together.
Wonderful. I think that's the button right there that we're looking for, Krystle. Thank you so much. My team out there, give a big round of applause for Krystle Starr, everybody. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're here. And I hope you continue to be happy to be here because it is time for my speed round.
I love that. I love that so much.
All right, Krystle, I already started telling you what this was before we came on the air, but just to remind you, I'm going to play a song for about 60 seconds. In that 60 seconds, I'm going to ask you a series of completely innocuous questions. This is just a way to get to know you a little bit better. But also, if you're feeling fun, we could also be a little competitive and see if you can beat the number that we have already set for the season, which is 17 questions asked and answered. It's a huge number. Don't feel like you have to. This is just more fun. Okay?
I'm ready.
Okay. As soon as you hear the song, I'm going to start asking questions. Away we go. What's your name?
Krystle Starr.
Do you have any pets?
One dog, Stanley.
If you could ask Stanley a question and get an answer, what would it be?
Are you hungry?
What's your biggest inspiration in life?
Oh my God. To be a third-time Lego Master Champion.
Nice. Go-to karaoke song.
Patsy Cline.
What was your first job?
Comic book shop.
What would you like your last meal to be?
Steak.
Best career advice you have ever had?
Play well.
What job would you be absolutely terrible at?
Coding.
Favorite vacation spot?
Hawaii.
Favorite TV series of all time?
Friends.
Favorite guilty pleasure TV series?
Ooh, Twilight. Just kidding. No. Yes, go.
Favorite way to stay creative?
Paint on your days off.
Most embarrassing thing in your music library?
Ooh, Bop.
If you could be a fictional character, who would it be?
Oh my God. Fictional character. Hermione.
15. But that's amazing. We're not Lego Master. You don't get a trophy from me. It's fine. Krystle, thank you again for coming on. Is there any way that my team out there can actually, any place they can go to find out more about you or just to see the fun that you get to do?
Yeah, we're working on the Building Bonds, which is the website for the team building for Lego that we're doing.
Yep.
It's almost up. So if you guys would like to book me for any kind of team building session, you can hit me up on Instagram, Krystle Starr X, Krystlestarrx. And I love doing team building projects to problem solve. And I guess the Kickstarter for Cardio Quest is like the biggest thing right now.
All right. Thank you so much, Krystle Starr.
Thank you so much, Rich. Thank you.